Hello, today I'm doing another drawing in my daily sketchbook with these Arrtx paint pens. I guess I have Posca pens out too, but I'm not really using them. I'm just using the Arrtx paint pens mostly. And this one's more of a real-time video, so it took me about 10 to 15 minutes to make this one. I do like the first layer and then I let it dry for a bit. But I was trying to be a little bit more intentional with my strokes on this one. Just spending a little bit more time up at the top part of the drawing, trying to make like the leaves and grass pieces stick out a little bit more to give it kind of a certain look, I guess. I don't know, just spending more time and being more intentional and not just like creating something really quickly, even though I was still creating something really quickly because I don't want to spend a lot of time in this sketchbook. And of course, I am a few days behind. I think for the next spread, I'll probably do them all in one day because I'm about 4 days behind on my daily sketches. But I'm trying to explore with different colors and creating different colored gradients with this spread, so the backgrounds are all a different combination. They all start with black and then I'm blending them either to green, red, or blue just to make them look a little bit different because they're kind of like the same thing. Like they're all like the same style, and I'm just trying really hard to like add variety to this spread. And so I'm adding in the variety by the colors and then the size of the flowers, or like what type of flowers I'm doing, even though I'm not really thinking of like a specific type of flower. I'm just kind of doing like the general shapes of like flowers and plants. And once I have that base gradient done, then I'm adding in like these random pieces of grass that I'm just putting in with really no rhyme or reason. I'm just trying to spread them out evenly throughout the whole illustration. And I'm starting out with the darkest color first, and then I move to like a lighter color to add in that dimension to give it like the look of it being layered, and it's kind of an easy way to create like the highlights and shadows. So I start with the darkest color and work my way to the lightest color, and then lastly I do a dark color again just so it has that overall gradient feel, I guess, again, to create those highlights and shadows and make it look more three-dimensional in this two-dimensional space. I'm not really focusing too much on where I'm placing my strokes for the grass. I'm just filling up like the blank areas. And I like to use a really, really light color too, because that kind of adds the highlights and that really helps make the illustration look three-dimensional versus like two-dimensional, if that makes sense. And I don't really wait for each of these layers to dry because I kind of want them to blend a little bit. I think it looks more natural, and I think it helps adding this darker layer on top. Like, you can really see the dimension once the dark layer is added on top of the lightest layer. And I decided to go for yellow with this color combination. I wanted to pick a color that really stood out against that dark red. And I didn't want to pick a complementary color because the complementary color would be green. And to me, red and green equals Christmas. So I kind of always avoid that color combination because I don't want to make it look seasonal. So I decided to go with the yellow, and we aren't using yellow in this spread at all yet. And I think the yellow works really well with the dark red. You can really see the flowers stand out against the background. And I'm trying to do like bigger flowers in the foreground, so at the bottom of the drawing, and then smaller flowers more towards the top, so you could kind of see like the three-dimensional space. I don't know if it's really working out too well, but that was kind of my intention, to make it look like the smaller items are further away from you. And I think something that probably would have helped that as well would be if I would have changed the color of yellow to make it more dull, even though this yellow is pretty dull, I would say, because it's not very opaque. But that was my intention. I'm not really sure if it turned out so well, but that's kind of my whole thought process as I was doing this. So bigger flowers in the front, so at the bottom of the page, and then smaller flowers in the back at the top of the illustration. And I'm using orange as well because I didn't use orange on this spread at all either. So that was kind of like my thought process for choosing colors. I was trying to choose colors that I hadn't used yet for this spread. And I don't know, I think I like this one the best so far. I like the colors for the 22nd, the purples and blues and greens. I love that color combination, but I like the variety of the flowers that I did for the 23rd. So I don't know, I kind of want to do this again, maybe at a later point in time, or maybe with like actual gouache paint. But once again, I'm kind of, tired of doing this style, so I'm excited to move on to my next spread. So I just have one more drawing to go, and then I'm gonna try something different for my next spread, which I think I might do watercolors, because it's been a while since I've done watercolors. And then I'm just doing the final touches of putting in like the center dot that's in a flower, just to make it look even more like a flower. And then I'm going in and adding in some leaves, and I decided to go with that bright pink for the leaves poking out from around the flowers, just to keep with the color theme. I think adding in green would be kind of weird, so I just wanted to stick with that color palette I created. And that's my final illustration. Thanks for watching. Bye.